Well, good morning. Breakfast with the broker every Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. or thereabouts. I had a little 2 week hiatus. So I was at the NAR legislative meetings in Washington, D.C., discussing housing affordability, which we'll probably get into with my next guest as well. And without further ado, and now, by way of Delray Beach, Florida, he is a broker associate with eXp Realty. He was recently ranked in the top 100 of real estate professionals by the Wall Street Journal. He is a team leader and coach of Saperstein Group. He's a father, husband, a Tesla driving, and caricature showing agent. Stand up and make some noise for Paul Saperstein.
Hey, Dave. How are you, bud? Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, Paul. So, we've known each other for a while now, and we've gone through all these, crazy markets going left, right, up, and down. How's the market?
It depends. If you watch the news, you'll read one thing. If you listen to the brokers and the top, people in the area, they might tell you something different. I think we're kind of in a special place down here, and it's actually really exciting to sell real estate in South Florida. We're probably the top state in the country as far as people moving in. It's a very transient state. I guess me and you probably been down here 20 something years. And I guess the rest of the country is now realizing, hey, Florida's the place to be. But it's a blessing to work in the market down here, and I think it's always strong. For us brokers, it doesn't necessarily matter if the market is hot or cold, as long as transactions are happening, and we're able to help families get into their homes. I mean, that's really what it's all about down here. So.
Absolutely. We talk about inventory and too often, people say, well, inventory is really low. There's nothing to sell and such. And really, it's more about the available inventory that we're having an issue with. Have you seen, because some people have seen in the last 2 weeks, and you see the news and media starting to change a little bit, whereas they're saying, well, hey, inventory is starting to creep up. Sales are starting to, transaction sides are starting to lessen. Have you been seeing that as well?
Yeah, I mean, if you check just real numbers on the MLS, South Florida, which is Miami-Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach County, we usually have about 60,000 active listings. We were down about 14,000. I think we're at 15,500 or 16,000. And I think the recent increase is probably, if you watch the news and you think the market's turning and you were on the fence of selling, I think the reason we're having a little bit of spike is because people say, well, let me sell before the market, goes sideways. So it's actually good. It's, I don't know that the market's changed. It's just, news is news. And, if you follow it, you could get scared to death,
Yeah, pretty much. They did a good job during the pandemic and as it continues, right? So, when we're looking at the market and South Florida, as you alluded to, you said it, we kind of have like a hedge down here, right? We have 800 people coming here every day, or at least the state of Florida, and people wanting to come, beaches and all that kind of stuff. Is there anything else that you think that maybe not everyone knows about South Florida that you think they should know?
Sure. I mean,
parks.
Yeah, I've been down here since 97 when I graduated from, and 99, I graduated from FAU. And I used to, as we were younger, used to think the summertime was the best time in Florida. We were young enough to handle the heat, but yet the restaurants and the roads weren't crowded. I think a lot of people think it's so hot here in the summer, but I'm from Maryland. I don't know where you are from originally, but it's just as hot in these other places in the country. Plus, we're 4 to 6 miles from the beach at all times. So, I think the summertime used to be the best kept secret down here, and we're always in the air conditioner if we're working. But now people are realizing, and obviously as you get older, it is hard to handle the heat outside. But I think the rest of the country is very similar. So in summers, we're kind of the best kept secret here, I think.
Getting back to the market, we, a lot of economists, Lawrence Yun, the chief economist of the National Association of Realtors, Dr. Brad O'Connor, the chief economist for the Florida Realtors, are all, expecting significant transaction sides being down, as much as 20 to 25%. And, it really comes down to, yes, we have a lot of demand, but the available inventory. How do you think interest rates are going to affect the real estate market, maybe in the near term, next 3 to 6 months in South Florida?
So yeah, it was surprising. I do pretty much 100% listing side, except it's for family. And it was recently that I actually spoke to a mortgage broker and asked them what the interest rates were. And I mean, I kind of have a pulse on it, but they were 2% higher than I remember in a long time, which really, everybody, whether you're buying a car, whether you're buying a furniture, they're always pushing the envelope what they can afford. So if their affordability goes down and the, interest rates are up, it's a double-edged sword where, I'm sorry, and the pricing goes up, they can't even afford what they're willing to buy. And that's probably what is going to affect the transactions in the long run.
Yeah, I mean, we continue to fight for, property insurance reform, and they're having a special legislative session at the end of May, to hopefully combat some of this, because as interest rates go up, the property insurance in South Florida is through the roof right now. So affordability has become an issue going forward. So we're hopefully by the end of the year we'll get that somewhat corrected. Let's talk a little bit about marketing, because I got to tell you, when you started out, in our careers, relatively are about the same in the sense of, when we started out in real estate, and you really took to marketing. Tell us a little bit about marketing and how it's affected your business.
Sure. So I minored in marketing at FAU. I always had an interest in advertising, marketing, and it wasn't really till about 15 years of the business where I really said, you know what, if I don't get to the listing side eventually, I just see the buyer side of the business, especially now with, multiple offer situations. You're not in control of your own destiny. So I started, print marketing probably about, 6 or 7 years ago with a local firm out here that actually use two different companies now, but they're really marketing companies, but to most people, they think they're a printing company. So if you align yourself with the right vendors and you have the right message, I really think having the right message based on whatever target audience you're going after is the important thing. I think one of the main mistakes that a lot of agents use, they want it to look pretty and they want it to speak to them. But unfortunately, the audience on the other side is really who it has to speak to. And branding is very important. I hear a lot of the top agents, they say it's not the agent who does the most sales that's the top agent. It's the agent that knows the most people, that has the widest reach. And that's very important, both of us, we never turned any deals, whether it's small, whether it's big. And that's how you grow your name, your brand. And, I can tell you firsthand, print marketing is not dead. Direct mail, especially during COVID. I mean, what funner thing is to do to then open the mail and see what kind of bills and see what kind of agents are mailing to your neighborhood. But it's important. Like the mail piece that goes out, one tip I can give to everybody, make sure you proof it. I mean, if you're sending to a neighborhood and there's some major mistakes on there, you're now spending money to advertise to people that you don't know what you're talking about, or you don't know what's in the neighborhood. For example, if it's a single family neighborhood and you talk about condos, I can only imagine around the neighborhood how many people are going to talk about, can you see Saperstein thought there was condos in Casabella? I mean, I can't imagine how that conversation would go. Yeah.
No, agreed. It's funny because, it's still the old fundamentals work, right? Direct mail and such. But, you embraced branding, going into that, you got a Tesla. You put the Tesla all over your branding and such. Tell us a little bit about that thought and how you came up with. Also, you were probably one of the first people that I noticed that had a caricature. So yeah,
Yeah,
tell us more about it.
Yeah, the character is kind of like a conversation starter. It's funny. Obviously, I've gotten older. The picture is actually from when I was probably 23, graduated from college. It wasn't even really a real estate picture. And I don't think, when I used it 15 or so years ago, I wasn't planning on actually keeping it. It just kind of stuck. And I've actually over the years tried to get new avatars, which I don't like as much. And I just couldn't do it. So I actually saw there was an artist. He was out of California that used to do these avatars for real estate agents. I think I stumbled across it by accident. Now a lot of the agents on my team, we use Fiverr, which is, $5 versus the $300 I paid for an artist, 20 years ago. The Tesla, it's a great real estate car. I'm not putting it on there to show off, has nothing to do with that. It's really just more, forward thinking, kind of the next generation of agents, just, cutting edge, technology is kind of what I've put in place in my business. And it's just fun. I mean, I really, if you don't have fun in this business, me and you've been in it so long, like if you don't have fun in this business, like it just doesn't make sense to even stay in the business. You got to make it fun out there. Yeah.
Agreed. And it's amazing because, branding, and maybe you can talk about this a little bit, but you said something really, really, really intelligent in the sense that you have a Tesla, right? They equate Tesla to technology, and then you're putting technology in your systems. Does your marketing need to be consistent, and does your branding need to be consistent?
Yes. So I do almost the same thing I do in print marketing that I do in digital marketing. I can't really see and track the results as good with digital marketing, especially a lot of my audience is the seniors. So it's hard but we do a lot of stuff on the back end with remarketing and driving to the website and showing banner ads. But the more tools and systems I'm using now are, a lot of AI stuff, a lot of, we have ISAs that are, getting back to the leads 24/7, 365 in real time, but not virtual. I mean, these are real live human beings, which is great. And, kind of keeps that personal touch as you grow the business. And, it's just, everybody will tell you whatever company they're at is speed to lead. If you're paying a ton of money to generate these leads, either make sure, first of all, you answer your phone. And if you can't, you're getting back to them within, I think they say after 5 minutes, the lead is pretty much. And I've had people flat out, they've told me, sorry, you didn't answer your phone. I've called 2 other agents. I'm all set. I'm thinking like, wow, 5 minutes, like you already found another broker. Like that's the world we're in the instant gratification world. And it's really not an instant gratification business, especially on our end. I tell all the new agents that are getting to the business, this sales cycle of real estate is months, could be years, but they still expect us to get back to them within 5 minutes. And the most important thing on that initial call is establish some kind of relationship, because you're just a voice over the phone. But if you can get in front of them, your chances of having a real estate transaction with them are 100 times as much. I don't know if that's the exact number, but you become a real person. And that's really the goal in our business, is not just to be an order taker, not just to send out MLS searches, actually to meet and greet these people, not sell them a home, but you want to get in front of them somehow.
Yeah, making more connections, building more relationships. Absolutely. The crazy thing is with these online leads, and there's so many lead sources and platforms, that you could embrace. But, there's over 100 million leads that happened in 2021. And there were only 6.1 million transaction sides. So, and many of those were not from online leads. So, you do the math. It's a tough, almost to a certain degree of, boiler room mentality you need with, constantly speaking to these, online leads. And, the one thing that I found very interesting is because they do studies and they say, basically the first person to pick up the phone, like you said, or, is who they use as a real estate. So yes, you obviously need credibility and stuff like that, but that's why a lot of these newer agents are doing so well, because they're just pounding the phones and getting and they're hungrier than some of us old folks. Tell us a little bit about your team. and how you
I want to drop one more nugget about a
yeah,
lead source that anybody else can use, that, so we get some value also here.
sure.
We recently signed up for everybody on the team for a company called Set Schedule. What Set Schedule does, it actually it's a referral source, kind of like, your Home Light or the other places that actually send you referrals, Upnest. But what they do is, I think they're actually buying recycled leads, which actually, if you first think about it, you're saying, well, if they're recycled, they're probably garbage. But if you think about it, so, somebody's spending, we have agents, not on our team that spend that much, but some agents have their whole business on Zillow, their whole business on realtor.com. They're spending $100 plus a lead. They call it one time, they don't answer. Maybe they text them, they leave them a voicemail, and then it probably just goes in their database and they never touch it again. What this company Set Schedule does is actually, I think they sell these refurbished leads. They're asking for a 20% referral, and you can basically sign up as a team for, call it $500 to $1,000 an agent for the year. You pretty much get unlimited leads, and then you just owe them a 20% referral fee if you close something exactly from that particular buyer or seller's name, which there are seller leads on there as well. So, I mean, that's kind of what we were doing heavy on Zillow. We were doing heavy on realtor.com. Same thing, closing 1% to 2%. And we really have recently, in the last month, transitioned into Set Schedule, which is, these refurbished leads. But, if you actually study how long the cycle is for these internet leads to buy, who cares if it's a 3-month-old lead? If they haven't bought and nobody's called them in 2 months in 29 days, it's now a fresh lead, and they're not charging per lead. So, Dave put it's just setschedule.com, set up an account. You can set up a team account, individual account. I don't get paid if you sign up. You don't have to mention my name. I just want to see, some other people do good in the area or across the country who's ever watching and, benefit from it. Because, and I love what you're doing, Dave, getting all the different brokerages together and the top agents. And that's really what the industry is about. It didn't used to be that way when we first started 20 years ago, but I'm glad everybody's embracing the collaboration between the brokerages and making the business fun again. It really is awesome.
No, agreed. I mean, it's just like building relationships with clients. It's building relationships with agents and our brokers. Because we're going to sell each other's listings. We're in the business together, and if we're going to go ahead and erode each other, we're going to erode the business as well. So, absolutely.
I didn't mean to dodge your question on teams. I'll answer it when you're done. Sorry.
No, agreed. No, I love that. I mean, listen, it's all about value, and I think that's awesome. I think that a lot of times, like you said, a 3-month-old lead. That the agent has really lost that buyer because the agent's like, this person's never going to buy, or they lose their motivation or whatever. A lot of times these 3-month-old leads are just happy to hear from you. So it should be it might be a better lead, even fresher. So let's talk about team and attracting talent. How do you attract talent?
So obviously I was at RE/MAX for 15 years. I always wanted to build a team. I couldn't really figure out exactly how to do it there. The young agents who are getting the business, I'm always been impressed by them. I love learning from them. Unfortunately, I couldn't figure out how to make it happen there. It really wasn't the broker. I was at a different RE/MAX, but it really wasn't set up. They didn't really have the training in place. They really didn't have everything in place for what I needed. So when I switched to EXP, I was able to take on new agents with the mentorship program. Although I really don't take brand new agents underneath my wing so much. It's more, I'll try to put them with somebody else on the team that's like-minded. Maybe they have a 1-year head start over them. I'm always there if they need me, but it's a little different here. We have what's called a sponsor. We get an assigned mentor, and we're able to, organically grow the team. Everybody's with the same mindset, and it works. And one thing I think I did a little bit different, maybe it was thinking outside the box, maybe when I came here 3.5 years ago, where there's 3 different team options. We did something called a self-directed team, or self-organized team, which actually we don't actually take a portion of the agent's commission. We still run it like a team. We've got great culture, but we actually don't take a portion of their commission. Only on leads that we hand out. We do take a 25% referral fee if it's through realtor.com or Zillow or personal lead, but I mean, not a personal lead, anything we give them, but on set schedule, we're actually not taking anything. They're just paying the 20% to set schedule and just having a viable lead source that they can continue to grow their business with.
But when you're looking for agents, right, to join your team, specifically the Saperstein Group, what are you looking for as far as skill set? How are you attracting talent? In a very competitive landscape.
Sure. So, believe it or not, people want to, and I'm not saying this ego. People want to be around other successful people.
Sure.
That are willing to teach them the same way you got a striving brokerage there. So I'm looking for people with a very similar mindset, very coachable. I'm looking for people that had a different career that was successful that they can plug into the business. A customer service background is a huge, huge benefit to get in this business. And no matter where they work, Remax, EXP, Caldwell, Century 21, we know the failure rate's high, but I don't really discuss that with them. Very, very positive mindset will let them know, we never talk about, well, 8.5 of you out of 10 of you guys are going to fail. It's always, I know you're going to make it. It's just how long is it going to take you to make it? Negativity, we really don't have any negativity in the office. It's a very, positive. There's no jealousy. It's very, we're excited to show each other the listings. And it just the culture, it's just right. And people either feel it when they get here or they don't. And we don't talk, it's crazy. We like, if you actually sat interview, we don't talk about EXP at all. It's not really about EXP. It's about the agent. If you sit there and listen, what are your goals? What's your dreams in real estate? Do you want to buy real estate? Do you want to become a listing agent? Do you want to become a buyer's agent? Do you want to specialize in rentals? If you listen to what their why is and why they're getting in the business, they will tell you. It's not about Dave when we're meeting somebody. It's not about Paul. It's about the agent. The same way when we go on a listing appointment, Dave's a great listing agent as well. If you're there talking about yourself, you're going to miss the clues of why you're in the house. Why are they selling? Is it financial? Is it personal? Are they sick? God forbid. And, just be a great listener in the business. And and it's funny, like as soon as you stop trying to make money in this business, that's when you make money. It took me 15 years to figure that out, but these young kids learn it faster and they're great, man. They're an inspiration. They kind of keep me going. It's a dog world, but they keep you young and hungry, and it's fun. Yeah.
Awesome. So I always end the program on 2 questions. One is, what is your favorite all-time streaming series? Your show, whatever favorite show you have, and what are you currently watching?
Wow, I'm not a big TV or live stream guy, so I'm gonna have to give you a shout. I'm gonna have to say it's Breakfast with the Broker.
How about a book? How about a book recommendation? No?
I'm not a big reader either, surprisingly. Let's see.
I put you on the spot. Sorry.
Yeah.
A lot of times, people, watch this obviously for the real estate, tips and advice and things that we provide value, with our guests. But a lot of times people are always intrigued by those 2 questions. They're like, oh, I never heard of that show. I never had that show. So that's
my kind of secret sauce. And I've always been this way. And I guess it could be kind of annoying to some people. Whoever I meet, I ask them 100 questions. I'm not really a big reader, not don't watch TV that much. But when I meet a person, I want to dive into them. What made you successful? How did you think of that? And just really ask the right questions and you'll get to know them. And that's kind of how I gain my knowledge. And, my reading is not my forte, unfortunately.
Love it. So. Paul, I can't thank you enough for coming on the show and being part of Breakfast with the Broker and talking about listening and talking about asking questions for clarity. Giving the advice on marketing regarding, and referral leads on set schedule and stuff. So we appreciate it. Continued success to you. And Breakfast with the Broker every Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. Thanks so much.
Thanks,
Take care,
guys.
guys.
Take care.
Take care.